Somewhere around 50,000 years ago, one of your ancestors woke up in the middle of the night. Heart pounding. Something felt wrong. They scanned the darkness, listened, checked the tree line, checked the sounds. Nothing was there, but the feeling didn't go away. That ancestor survived. You are here because that feeling worked. The problem is it never stopped. Most people who experience this assume it means something is wrong with them, that they're anxious by nature, that they're wired wrong, that other people don't feel this and they should figure out how to be more like those people. But that's not quite right, because the feeling isn't a flaw in your brain, it's a feature, one that's 50,000 years old, running in a world that's about 49,950 years younger than it was designed for. And once you understand what it actually is, you'll never think about it the same way again. Let's start with what your brain was actually built to do. For the vast majority of human history, the world was trying to kill you. Not metaphorically, literally. Predators, starvation, rival groups, disease with no treatment, exposure with no shelter. Every single day was a probabilistic calculation between staying alive and not. And the brains that survived were not the calm ones. They were the ones that never fully relaxed, the ones that kept scanning, that treated silence as suspicious, that interpreted the absence of a threat as a reason to look harder, not a reason to rest, because the predator that got you was never the one you saw coming. It was the one you stopped watching for. Neuroscientists call this negativity bias. Your brain is not a neutral processing system. It is a threat detection machine that also happens to be able to do other things. It processes negative information faster, holds it longer, and weights it more heavily than positive information by a significant margin. In one study, researchers showed participants images that were positive, neutral, and negative while measuring electrical activity in the brain. Negative images produced brain responses roughly 3 times stronger than positive ones of equivalent intensity. 3 times. Your brain is not broken for noticing what's wrong. It was specifically selected over hundreds of thousands of years because it couldn't stop. But here's where it gets stranger, because the threat detection system your brain runs wasn't built for the world you actually live in. It was built for the savannah, for a world of immediate physical dangers that appeared, escalated, and resolved. A predator came. You ran or you fought. The danger ended. Your nervous system reset. That cycle, threat, response, resolution, is what your biology was calibrated for. The threats you face now don't work like that. An email from your boss doesn't appear in your field of vision and then leave. It sits in your inbox at 11 p.m. The financial pressure you feel doesn't resolve when you outrun something. It accumulates over months. The social anxiety you carry doesn't end when the interaction does. It replays in your mind for hours afterward. Your threat detection system can't tell the difference. When your brain reads an upsetting message, the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes threat, activates in the same way it would if something dangerous was moving toward you. Cortisol floods your system. Your heart rate increases. Your attention narrows. The body is preparing you to run from something you can't run from, and so the activation never fully resolves. The cortisol never fully clears. The system that was designed to fire, complete a cycle, and reset runs continuously instead, looking for a resolution that modern life never provides. Psychologists call this chronic stress activation, but what it feels like from the inside is simpler than that. It feels like something is wrong. Not anything specific. Nothing you can point to. Just a low, persistent hum underneath everything. A vague sense of unease that follows you from the moment you wake up to the moment you manage to fall asleep. Present even on the good days. Present even when, by any rational measure, everything is fine. And here's the part that most people never hear. That feeling is not irrational. It is not weakness. It is not something that better people don't experience. It is your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do, in an environment it was never designed for. There's a term for this. Evolutionary mismatch. The gap between the environment your biology was built for and the environment you actually inhabit. And researchers who study it have found that almost every chronic psychological condition that defines modern life maps directly onto it. The anxiety that won't go away. The restlessness that makes it hard to sit still. The difficulty sleeping. The feeling that you should be doing something even when there's nothing urgent to do. The low-level dissatisfaction that persists even when things are going well. None of these are character flaws. They are ancient systems running on modern hardware in a world they were not written for. But here's what makes this complicated. You can't uninstall the software. The negativity bias isn't going anywhere. The amygdala isn't going to stop treating your inbox like a tree line. The cortisol response isn't going to learn the difference between a deadline and a predator. What you can do is understand what's happening, because there is something that shifts when you stop interpreting the hum as evidence that something is wrong with you, and start recognizing it as evidence that your brain is very, very old. The feeling doesn't go away, but it changes weight. Somewhere around 50,000 years ago, your ancestor lay back down in the dark. The threat never materialized. The night stayed quiet. But they didn't fully relax. They kept one part of their attention open, listening. And in the morning, they were still alive. You are the direct biological descendant of every human who felt that feeling and kept going anyway. Every person who woke in the dark with their heart pounding over nothing and made it to the next day. Every mind that couldn't fully rest and survived because of it. The hum isn't a sign that you're broken. It's proof that you come from a very long line of people who were paying attention.